Hi! In today's tutorial, we are going to study about groupby using Pandas. Groupby is a very special feature which is used to summarize the dataset. Let's understand with the help of an example. So over here, let me firstly import my library, and over here I have a retail dataset which I'm reading. Now let's have a look at our dataset. This dataset contains orders information, that is, what are the various orders placed by various customers from different states and regions, what was the category of the product which they had ordered, or what was the product name, what was the sales, quantity and the profit for that product. Now let's start with groupby. Suppose our problem is that I want to get a sum of sales for the total data. Okay, so I can easily do it using df dot sales and dot sum. So it is giving me the total sales for all of the orders. However, if I want the total sales for each of the category, that is, I want the sales for furniture category, I want the sales for office supplies category, then there are two ways to do it. Either I can use without a groupby approach, or I can use groupby. So let's firstly see how do I do it without groupby. So I would be writing something like df.log, and then I will be writing something like df.category equal to furniture, and I'll be retrieving the sales column. Once I do it, I'll just do the sum. So this is the sales for furniture. But I've got so many categories, or there can be a lot of categories in any kind of categorical variable, right? So I can't do it for every single one of them. That's where groupby is important. So using groupby, I'll be writing the code something like df.groupby, and I'll be writing my column name which I want to group by. So I want to group by category because I want sales for every single category. Then after the group by, in square brackets, I will specify the column for which I want this sum. So I want sales column here. And now I will specify my aggregate measure. Currently in this situation, it is sum. So notice it has given me the sales for each and every single category, which is for furniture, office supplies and technology. Notice the code over here and here gives the same sales for furniture. However, instead of writing every single category in this line of code, I am using groupby, which is a more efficient approach. It's not necessary that in using groupby you can only use sum. There can be other summary statistics like median, count, minimum, maximum, mean, and so many more you can use. Now let's try that. What if we don't only want to group by category, rather we want to group by multiple variables, that is, let's say region and category. We want two columns to be grouped by, that is, I want the total sales for each region and category combination. So for this, I can write the code like df.groupby. Now in groupby, because I have got two variables for which I want this groupby, so I will provide the list over here, and I'll write my code as category is my first item and second is my region. Now for category and region, since I want total sales, so that's why I'm using the sales column here. So in this outside the group by, I'm writing sales, and since I want total sales, so I'm using sum. And notice it has returned me the total sales for each category and region combination now. Similarly, in group by, it's possible that we might be grouping by one or two categorical variables. However, we might be wanting to calculate the summary statistic for multiple variables. So let's say I am grouping by category, but I want total sales as well as total quantity. So how I'll write this code? Let me firstly copy paste this entire thing. Now here I have grouped by category. I want not only total sales but also total quantity. So for this, I'm going to pass here a list of variables which I want. So I want it by sales, number one, and secondly, I want it by quantity. So now this is like grouped by category, and what I want sum of sales and quantity. And if I run this code, that's our result. Now in group by, it's also possible that we not only want only one of the summary statistic, we might want to retrieve multiple summary statistics. So for example, what if we want to retrieve total sales as well as average sales for each region. Then how we write this code is df.groupby, and over here I'm grouping by region, and now I want total sales as well as average sales. So I'm using the sales column, that's why I'm writing square bracket sales over here. Oops, here is a typo. And then now I can't write something like dot sum dot mean directly, because I am trying to retrieve multiple summary statistics. That's why I'm going to use dot aggregate function. So for this I will write dot ag, and in this dot ag I can provide my list. So I want mean and then I want sum. And if I close this thing and if I run this thing now, so see, it has given me the total sales for each region, it's the average sales for each region, and here it is the total sales for each region. Similarly, if we want to get these multiple summary statistics, not only for sales column but also quantity column, then what we do is, let me copy paste this code. Now similarly, instead of this one single value over here, which is sales, I'm going to provide the list of columns. So I can provide it like sales, and then my second column is quantity. And if I run this thing, it is giving me average sales, total sales, average quantity and total quantity by each region. But what if we don't want average or total sales for each one of these columns? What if for sales we want, let's say, minimum and maximum, and for quantity we want mean and total? For this we will again use the aggregate function. However, the syntax will change slightly. So for this, let me copy till here at least, df.group by region. Now over here I'll provide dot ag, because I'm working on two different columns. So dot ag, and I'll provide a dictionary. In this dictionary, the keys will be the column names and the values would be the list of summary statistics which I want. So let's understand. Suppose I want for sales column, this will be my key, and for values for this, suppose I want minimum and maximum. So I will write min, comma, max. And this is a list. So let's assume we are currently working on only one column, which is sales. So this is my key over here, and I'm trying to retrieve minimum and maximum for this column. So if I run this thing, here is my result. Now we are using this dictionary approach because we want to use multiple columns and different summary statistics. So let's say I want a quantity column as well, but I want mean and sum for it. So I'll write something like over here, after this first key value pair, which is sales, min and max, I'll write a comma, and here I'll write quantity. This will be my new key, and then over here I want mean and sum. So this is my first key value pair, that is for sales column, get the minimum and maximum, and this is my second key value pair, which is for quantity column, get the mean and sum. And if I run this code now, this is giving me the required result. It's not necessary that in aggregate function or in group by you can only use the already provided summary statistics like minimum, maximum, count, etc. You can also use your own user defined functions. So over here I have created a user defined function which is called range function, where it takes a data frame and where it returns the maximum value minus minimum value, which is the range of that column. So for this, let me try that if I want to group by every single region and I want to get the range of sales column, then how will I write it is df.groupby region. And since I want to work on sales column, I'll write something like square bracket sales. And in the dot ag, now I'm using this user defined function using this aggregate function itself. And I will just simply write range underscore function. And if I run this thing, it has given me the range for every single region. Now the thing is, whenever we are using group by, if we run any output, let's say over here, I'm getting total and average sales by each region. So if I'm running this thing, then if you notice, these regions are saved as the indices and they are not actually a column. What I mean is, that is, let's say if I save it something like grouped underscore df equal to, and if I see this data frame and if I see grouped underscore df dot index, then notice these regions are actually the indices. Or what I mean is, if I see grouped_df dot columns, then notice the column names are mean and sum. But what if we want these regions to be not an index but another separate column? So for this, we will write a special parameter in this grouped data, which is in this group by, we will write as underscore index equal to false. And now if I run this thing, notice region is now a particular column and it is no longer an index. So that was all about group by using pandas. Do let us know in the comments below how did you find this tutorial. Until then, see you soon.